rock and roll. Where we at? We're at Road Poet Studio, the TV show that invites you, the viewer, to come on and be part of it. So if you sing, dance, juggle pianos, tap dance, cross a live wire, we want you, the viewer, to be on. So they're going to put up our email address, and you send us an email, and then we'll tell you, you're more than welcome anytime to be on the show. And I got two great folks here, Bill Gleed and Joe. You know Joe Control, right?
That's it.
You've been on about a bunch of times, and you know, I'm very blessed to have these great musicians on with me tonight. You know, just give us a couple riffs here to start the show.
You want to
Do what you just did, yeah.
Rock and roll. Thank you, guys. You know, this is the Road Poet Studio holiday show. And I hope everybody out there is going to have a great holiday. And I know you folks out there, most of you, because this is Bev TV, it's BevCam. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the Patton, tank, World War II tank at the Patton Park. And I absolutely love that. And one time I had a gentleman here, his name was Matthew Purdy of Gloucester, drew this great picture for you. I don't know if we'll be able to get it on there or not, but it goes with this poem because it reminded me of Eastman Johnson's 1867 also photo. He did this painting of a bunch of young children playing on an abandoned stagecoach. And the tank reminded me of that, the way the kids played on that. But then I thought about it, we all love vehicles. Oh, God, yes, we do, and I'm just going to read this. There's something about anything with wheels, or had wheels, or could have wheels, that sets a child's heart to dreaming. It could be a radio flyer, or perhaps two chairs on the floor, back to back, or an old family car parked out back, up on blocks, or an old army tank parked in the park. There's just something about anything with wheels, or had wheels, or looks like it could have wheels, that sets a child's mind to spinning. There's something about anything with wheels that has wheels or could have wheels that sets a youth's mind to racing, with thoughts of the open road and the miles up ahead and the adventures to be found just as soon as they get some wheels turning. It could be an old truck, or perhaps an old car, or even an old motorcycle, or an old army tank parked in the park. As long as it has wheels, had wheels, or could have wheels, or looks like it could have wheels, it'll set their imagination to moving. There's just something about anything with wheels that sets one's heart to racing. It makes no mind if they're only 5 or 105 and no longer drive. If it has wheels, or had wheels, or could have wheels, it sets a mind's memory in motion. It makes no mind if the dreams are miles behind or the road up ahead. If it had wheels, or could have wheels, or would have wheels, or maybe never had wheels, but it still will set their heart and soul to spinning. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Well, you guys want to play some music? Play Silent Night. We kind of was gifted.
All right.
This is our holiday show.
A little Christmas song for people. All right, you ready?
All right.
2, 3, 4. shepherds quake at the sight. Glory stream from heaven afar. Heavenly hosts sing hallelujah. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth. One more time around.
Thank you guys so much. You know what I mean? Wow, wow, that is so cool.
You're welcome.
You know, right
Thank you.
now,
Thank you.
we're going to go to another shot. We're going to show you something special a friend of mine put together, Nicholas Kelleher from the Ipswich iCams Tech. And I'd like to thank Nicholas big time. Bill was playing on the ukulele, of all
God,
things.
yeah.
We're going to play towards the cruise night before Christmas because I love hot rods. I don't know about you guys. And Damian Allen was
Damian
on the
Allen played
saxophone.
saxophone that night,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was, all you guys are great. We're going to watch that right now. It was the night before Christmas. It was the cruise night before Christmas, and Dad and Grandpa and Junior too were left alone in the house while Grandma, Mother, and little sister too did the last bit of holiday shopping down at the mall. Well, Granddad and Grandpa too and Junior sat there drinking noggin and talking, watching the tree lights flicker, talking about what they'd like to see under the tree come the next morning. And then they talked about custom bikes. And then they talked about vintage cars. And they talked about hot rods and rat rods too. And they talked about tools and custom paint. And they talked about building. And of course they talked about chrome. Yes, all the things that folks talk about on Christmas Eve, or at least they do on the hot rod side of the street. Then all of a sudden, what should they hear but a set of fine-tuned glass packs coming rumbling down the road on what they believe could be a fine-built street rod. So they ran to the porch to see what this fine-tuned street rod might be, and then just what would pull in the yard but a 40 Ford pickup truck painted cherry red with 8 tiny reindeer riding in the bed. And as the engine ceased to rumble, the 8-track player played the last chords of the Beach Boys' Little Saint Nick, and out jumped from the cab a little man so quick and dressed in red with black boots on his feet and a flyer's cap on his head. And this is what the old man said with a gleam in his eyes. "Tell me, boys, what would you like to see under the tree? Come morning, reach for the sky." And Junior said, "I'd like a Harley Sportster with bob fenders and a custom tank, handlebars and forward controls and a custom paint." And Dad said, "I'd like a chopped 32 Ford coupe with a Merc mill with Offenhauser heads, with chrome acorn nuts and 3 deuces with chrome bonnets." And Grandpa said, I'd like a 56 Olds with a new paint job, with cruising skirts and spinner caps and glass packs, just like the one I had when I dated Grandma. And with that, the little man spun in a circle 3 times, chuckled and laughed and giggled to himself, and said with a gleam in his eyes, "It's all right here, boys, before your eyes." And with that, the little man cast his hand around the dooryard, pointing towards Junior's spray can Sporty, and Dad's half-built 30s Ford Coupe, and his grandpa's rusting old 50s Olds, and said, "Boys, follow me." And they all started for the house, and the little man said, "Hey, that ain't where it is, boys. Go to the garage, and it's not under the tree." With that, the little man popped open the garage door, and then all stepped back in surprise and awe, for what it was that he wasn't fooling when he said reach for the sky. There stood a 6-foot toolbox stuffed with tools, with a bag that read to Junior, and with that was a stack of custom parts with tags that read, "A Merry Christmas for all." And there was a new compressor with a spray paint kit and a top-notch welder with a tag that said Dad and Happy Holidays, St. Nick. And there was a stack of hot rod mags covering every year, and a bunch of hot rod movies and how to do books labeled to chop, how to customize, and how to paint too, all tagged to Great Granddad. "Yes, it's all here, boys," the little man said. "All you have to do is build." And with that, he stepped back into the truck, tossed open the door, and threw one leg in, and turned and grinned with a glint in his eyes and said, "I'll be back next year, boys, to see what you did." And with that, he jumped back into the cab, turned the key, and the 8-track player began playing the Beach Boys and the Glass Pack Rumble. And as he rode down the line and he rolled down the road, and you could hear him off in the snapping gears and shifting and the snapping and the crackling and the racking of the glass packs, and then all you could hear is, "Merry Christmas, Happy New Cruising Season to all." Hi, I'm K. Peddler Bridges, and I'm here for Ipswich iCam and BevCam. And we're shooting a new show, the Road Poet Studio. Now, the thing so great about the Road Poet Studio, we invite you, the viewer, to be on. If you sing, dance, juggle pianos, tap dance across the stage, we want you, the viewer, to be on. So keep that in mind. The Ipswich iCam's Road Poet Studio and the BevCam's Road Poet Studio. And that's my book, and you're going to be hearing a lot about it soon. So I'd like to thank you and waiting for you to get a hold of us. Thanks. Rock and roll, we're back. I would like to thank, again, Nicholas Kelleher for doing that great shot that he put together for us and all the great stuff they do down there. As I always say, cable TV is like the greatest thing going since sliced bread. If you're out there and you like to be on the show, you sing, dance, juggle pianos, write stories, we want you on the show. And now my friend Bill, because this is the holiday season, we're celebrating the holiday, and Bill's going to play something for us. Go ahead, Bill. Thank you, Bill.
You're welcome.
We have just slid right into Christmas, right straight through the 12 nights of Christmas. Drag the cat out from underneath the tree there. Just grab him. He'll come back out. Tell him you're going to give him some eggnog. The cats like eggnog. I don't know. But anyways, it doesn't make any difference. But now I wrote this a few years ago for my friends, motorcycle friends, and all my friends. And maybe you guys could give me a little bit of riffs in the background of this. Now, I really like those new school rides with the bobber fenders and custom tanks. With their near Kelsey Martin paint jobs and tricked out front ends. But when it comes to brothers and sisters, I still like my old school friends. Because when an old school friend comes knocking at the door at 2 a.m. and tells you their mate gave them the toss, and no matter what your mate hollers, even if they holler, they can't stay here, you both leave and go look for a place to stay because they're an old school friend. Because when old school friends call at 3 a.m. and tells you that they're broke down along the road, you don't say I have to work in the morning, you just ask where and add I'm on my way. Because when an old school friend calls you from anywhere, anytime, and asks you if they can call your landlord, their boss, or their wife, and explain, they don't have to explain. They just hang up out in the road, and you never ask why or how, just the number to call, because they're old school friends. And you never tell an old school friend they can't come over because you have family, friends, or guests, because old school friends are always families, friends, and guests. And you never say to an old school friend when it comes to business there's no such thing as friends, because if you can't deal with them open and honest, they're not old school friends. And that's just how it lasts. And if they show up and you have to leave, you toss them the key and say, I'll be back, because you never tell them you have somewhere else to go, because they're old school friends. And old school friend never asked you for anything they don't really need or they couldn't give to themselves at the time. And they never ask for anything they don't deserve. That's why they were old school friends. Now, I really dig those new school rides with the bobber fenders and custom tanks, with the near Kelsey Martin paint jobs and their tricked out front ends. But when it comes to my brothers and sisters, I still like my old school friends. Maybe we should end this with Old Anxiety.
All right, here we go. An old acquaintance we forgot, never brought to mind. Should old acquaintance be forgot, and the days of old lang syne. For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness now.
Well, folks, we'll see you next year, and tune in for the show, and we hope to have you on here. Thank you, brothers.
Oh,